Hey everybody. Yeah, I wanted to share with you some stuff, some readings out of this book called The Souls of Black Folk. It's a classic book written by Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. And this reading comes from pages 178 and 79. And Du Bois is talking about how crime has risen amongst the black population once blacks were emancipated from slavery. He also talks about how how blacks were policed after slavery, and why he talks about why he feels like what the purpose of police were after blacks were emancipated. So, and before I share this reading and read it aloud, don't forget to like, subscribe, and message me, okay? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, message me, give me your thoughts. Here it is. Moreover, the political status of the Negro in the South is closely connected with the question of Negro crime. There can be no doubt that crime among Negroes has possibly increased in the last 30 years, and that there has appeared in the slums of great cities a distinct criminal class among the blacks. In explaining this unfortunate development, we must note two things. One, that the inevitable result of emancipation was to increase crime and criminals. And two, that the police system of the South was primarily designed to control slaves. As to the first point, we must not forget that under a strict slave system, there can scarcely be such a thing as crime. But when these variously constituting human particles are suddenly thrown broadcast on the sea of life, some swim, some sink, and some hang suspended, to be forced up or down by the chance currents of a busy, hurrying world. So great an economic and social revolution as swept the South in 1863 meant a weeding out among the Negroes of the incompetents and vicious, the beginning of a differentiation of social grades. Now a rising group of people are not lifted bodily from the ground like an inert solid mass, but rather stretched upward like a living plant, with its roots still clinging in the mold. The appearance, therefore, of the Negro criminal was a phenomenon to be awaited, and while it causes anxiety, it should not occasion surprise. Here again, the hope for the future depended peculiarly on careful and delicate dealing with these criminals. Their offenses at first were those of laziness, carelessness, and impulse, rather than of malignity or ungoverned viciousness. Such misdemeanors needed discriminating treatment, firm but reformatory, with no hint of injustice, and full proof of guilt. For such dealing with criminals, white or black, the South had no machinery, no adequate jails or reformatories. Its police system was arranged to deal with blacks alone, and tacitly assumed that every white was ipso facto a member of that police. Thus grew up a double system of justice, which erred on the white side by undue leniency and the practical immunity of red-handed criminals, and erred on the black side by undue severity, injustice, and lack of discrimination. For as I have said, the police system of the South was originally designed to keep track of all Negroes, not simply of all criminals. And when the Negroes were freed and the whole South was convinced of the impossibility of free Negro labor, the first and almost universal device was to use the courts as a means of re-enslaving the blacks. It was not then a question of crime, but rather than one of color that settled a man's conviction on almost any charge. So like I said, these are the words of W.E.B. Du Bois about how crime after slavery was ended was going up amongst blacks. And he kind of says that wasn't going to be a surprise, because you basically took a group of people who were enslaved, who were used to getting everything from getting everything, being taken care of, and you just kind of said, here you go, you're free, without basically helping them at all. The crime went up, so he says that shouldn't have been a surprise. He says that the police system in the South was put together simply to control the blacks. And he says the system was, like more against blacks than it was whites. So my question is that something that's still going on today? Has this been fixed? What are your thoughts? Give me a message. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.